In many good ways, some of the greatest mobile games ever made are single players, and the fact that some of them actually play offline, that just takes the overall quality to so much heights. We've had a lot of great ones this year, and here's over 20 offline games you should definitely try before stepping into the final month of the year. Alright, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna go ahead and give number 1 to a game called Astris. And this game has actually been around for over a year now, and it is actually a paid game. However, it's one of those few little mobile games that just feels like it should even cost more. Easily one of the best looking mobile RPGs released in months. With visuals, it somehow runs smoother than half the free-to-plays out there. The combat blends real-time action with turn-based timing, making not only every fight feel sharp and satisfying, but also giving it a depth and also a freshness. Story-wise, it actually has a lot of lore that it just throws at you, but the characters actually keep things engaging enough. No microtransactions, no gacha, no nonsense, just a full single-player adventure. A controller support is missing though, but everything else, all things considered, screams premium with this game. If you want quality, this is it. If Shawshank Redemption had microtransactions and a sprint button, we'd like to think this would be it. I mean, Prison Master Escape Journey makes sneaking through vents and bribing inmates satisfying in just all the right ways. You start as a nobody in this game with a dream and a spoon, slowly turning the world's worst Airbnb into your escape playground, where every guard's pattern matters. Trade is a gamble, and only one dumb move gets you teased back to reality. It's stealthy, addictive, part strategy, part all-around chaos. Think of it as Escapist meets Hitman Go, except you're sweaty, barefoot, and praying that spoon doesn't break. Since we're including quality over size as we're going down, it'll just be a shame if we didn't include this bad boy in our list. Honestly, Hitman Absolution on mobile is just straight up legendary. Not a downgrade, not a cloud version, not a mobile edition. This is just a full thing rebuilt for phones like it had something to prove. Feral Interactive ported the entire game perfectly. You get crisp visuals, smooth performance, touch controls that actually make sense for once, full controller support, and keyboard and mouse on mobile, because there's always that one guy. $15 might sound premium, but for a complete console size in your pocket, it is the absolute steal. Come on. Truth be told, we've actually wanted to talk about Dandy Ace for quite some time, and this is basically Hades, but like just make it look fabulous. You play as a magician who's so stylish he actually gets trapped inside a mirror and a whole wide world made out of mirrors, because of course he does. Every single run throws you into a different ever-changing castle. It's fast, flashy, and surprisingly hard if you actually underestimate it. If you like roguelikes but wish they just had more glitter and ego issues, this Magician's Meltdown's worth the price. It's as if someone mixed Slay the Spire with Diablo and gave it rest. The mobile version actually feels great with proper touch controls instead of the usual PC port pain. It's offline, it's out now on both stores as well. Now, one of my favorite games this whole 2025 was something that came out. It's Bus Sim Pro. Basically what happens when you decide to be a bus driver in New York City instead of just screaming at traffic like a normal person. You've got realistic physics articulated in double-decker buses, and interiors actually so detailed that you're going to be adjusting the mirrors just for fun. Pick up passengers at the timetable, dodge, survive traffics. You can play solo missions or hop in a multiplayer to see who's the true king of the freak show. And on top of that, it's got weather changes like traffic rules and ranking that add actual stakes. It's a good game about 1 GB in size. Bring her up, Going down to number 4, it is Total War Empire. It's basically witchcraft. You're commanding full 18th century armies, managing colonies and engaging in massive sea battles, all in phone with barely a frame drop. In fact, the new update is ridiculous in just the best way. Over 40 playable new factions, new campaign, unique new troops, also deeper national mechanics that don't even exist on the PC port. It's the same grind scale strategy that defined this series, just polished for touch controls and better optimized than ever. If you've ever wanted to rewrite history, forming the US or wrecking UK with pirates, this is about as close to perfection as Total War gets on mobile. With that being said, we've actually wanted to talk about this game for like a week, and if you haven't already picked this up, The Siege is pretty much what you'd want if you like the game Tabs, you know, especially Tabs Mobile. This time around though, you get to build death machines, aim in castles, and like watch physics do the rest. The sandbox lets you test different machines or just nuke everything in sight, while the campaign gives structure for those of you who like goals. Controls are touch friendly, but controller helps if you're serious about wrecking stuff efficiently. It's just another good game where like creativity meets destruction. Like sometimes your ideas fail and sometimes it levels a castle perfectly. It's a paid game of course, but you can play it demo free.
Wrong walls, nightmarish creatures.
Bendy and the Dark Revival just landed on the Play Store and also the Apple Store, and we're glad to report it's actually a solid port that works surprisingly well on mobile. This thing's been marked for a Switch release later on in the year, but somehow it actually made its way to mobile even sooner. The performance is smooth on both Android and iOS. Obviously it's not reinventing any genre, but it's one of the rare mobile horror games that actually feels complete, polished, and playable anywhere without any compromise. Combat's simple, the timing matters in this game, all elements fit mobile controls perfectly. On top of that, well, the 1930s cartoon style visuals are just charming without feeling overdone, and the scares are legitimately real. Coming in at number 9, it's my favorite game of all time. In puzzle games, of course, there's the Siberia games, but on mobiles, you see, it's gonna be none other than the Room series. Basically, it's a fancy, slightly creepy toy box simulator for adults. You twist, pull, prod, and occasionally wonder if you're turning the right dial or just poking onto your sanity. Each puzzle box in the game is a art masterpiece. It just makes you feel smart, then immediately humble you with like, oh, that's why it's called a puzzle game. On the other hand, the Room 2, 3, and Old Sins all expand into multiple timeline stories, adding a bit of backtracking, but the touch controls here are silky smooth. If you like your brain teased, your hands busy, and your heart a little unsettled, this is the one to grab. These games are about 30 cents a piece. Why not? Coming up behind that is Wolfenstein's Lite. It's a decent new shooter that feels like if Wolfenstein had a low-budget twin that still somehow delivers pure shooting satisfaction. It's a post-World War II FIFA dream where you storm a maze of bunkers, take down armed soldiers, and just pray you don't fall through another booty trap. No hand-holding here, no nonsense, just dark corridors, tight ammo, and that old-school first-person shooter vibe that really hits hard. It is high claustrophobic and way more intense than its light little suggestions.
To every corner of the globe.
This might be pretty good news. Carmen Sandiego is back on Android and iOS, and this time you don't even need a Netflix subscription either. For those of you who do know, the old thief turned semi-hero here is back with all the missions, including the 40th anniversary one. You're gonna be hopping from Rio to Tokyo, sneaking, gliding, and using UV thermal vision to stop heists. Think of this game as an Assassin's Creed Lite meets classic, clever, fun, casual gaming. It's not a point and click in case you didn't know, it's just exploration, lots of sneaking. Check it out just in case you missed it. It's got a demo. Zombie Harbor, on the other hand, feels like one of those mobile shooters that just gets it. It's straight to the point, tight controls, clean visuals, and a constant rush of action. You just grab a gun, you start mowing down waves of zombies and post-apocalyptic maps that actually feel authentic. The weapons mechanics are decent, upgrading them feels genuinely rewarding instead of grindy. It's fully offline so you can blast through missions anywhere, anytime without worrying about any connection drops. And the waves get tougher as you go, smarter and also more disparate. If you miss old school zombie shooters with that classic survival feel, Zombie Harbor actually brings it back in style. Going down to number 7, it is the one and only Mad Out 2. It's basically Grand Theft Auto's scrappy Eastern European cousin who's been hitting the gym and bought a jetpack. I mean, look, it's insane how much these developers have crammed into a free mobile game. Open world action, 200-player multiplayer if you want, car races, gunfights, mafia RP, and just story missions that somehow don't feel like filler like one bit. The cars handle a little tipsy, the customization is just borderline obsessive, and the streets are always full of people doing who knows what at any given second. This is, without a doubt, a rough around the edges kind of game, but that is just part of the charm. It's just pure charm, riz, magic, freedom, all with a hint of, I can't really believe this runs on my phone. Give it a shot. They've been building this saga for years, and finally, we're proud to announce that the third adventure hunter here proves that these developers weren't really kidding. This new chapter of the tower is like headache in a good way. Lily, Max, and some professor wander a tower that looks abandoned until it doesn't. Traps, hidden objects, and a ton of smart puzzles to keep you glued to the screen. This puzzle game's actually got a deep story with a lot of tension and sequences that make you question why you thought tapping blocks was relaxing. I don't know. If you like clever tapping and subtle terror, this tower doesn't let you sleep, and it'll definitely linger for a few hours after you finish. Dead River is another game like that. It is what you get if The Walking Dead and State of Decay had a baby and they grew it up near a poison river. And I actually feel like we haven't given it enough credit the last time, because this game is a fine mobile gem. You're a soldier stuck in quarantine hell, scavenging, looting cars, and shooting smarter than average infected that punish every single mistake you make. Teamwork is optional, though it does have teamwork, because your AI partners might backstab you like a raid. And you can craft upgrades, sneak, or just go loud. The game doesn't care. It's intense, a bit grindy, and satisfying if you like survival loops that make a coffee break feel like an apocalypse. It is free on Android, so there's literally no excuse.
I'm telling you, this place is haunted!
Now, with that being said, Duck Detective Ghost Glamping's back as well with another wonderfully ridiculous mystery. And you can actually try the first 15 minutes of the game for free before unlocking the full adventure. You played as the old legendary Duck Detective, freshly divorced and emotionally soggy now. You're gonna be waddling into a no murder case that somehow feels chaotic anyway. You're gonna be inspecting clues, question different suspects, and fill in deductions to piece everything together. The whole cast of the game is just fully voiced, making every oddball character feel alive and charismatic. It's pretty short. It's about a 2 to 3 hour adventure, perfect if you want something funny without trying too hard. And yes, it actually has controller support as well. Kingdom Climb looks like someone took a physics-based platformer, threw it off a cliff, and somehow this thing climbed back up on its own. Well, first of all, it's a pretty goofy, floaty game. Like, half the time you don't even know if you're controlling the character or just the character's controlling you and your sanity, but that's kind of the charm. Every jump feels like a gamble. You can climb, slip, repeat, and somehow it stays fun instead of making you want to uninstall the game. It's super lightweight too, so it runs on basically anything, and once it clicks, it's actually way more addictive than it has any right to be. The game is not free though. $7, it's simple, it's annoying enough in a good way, and perfect for one of those one more try rage snacks. Spooky Express, on the other hand, is a little bit on the cute side. It's actually a Halloween-style puzzle game that's definitely smarter than it looks. You're basically running a train through a monster country, hauling zombies, ghosts, and humans to the right stops without turning this whole thing into a traffic jam. It sounds easy, of course, but until you realize that one wrong move, the whole thing is just a mess now. All the passengers start panicking and they start just going down on it. I mean, like biting each other. It's actually from the same minds behind Cosmic Express. It's just a spookier game, a little sharper. The art is amazing, puzzles are tight, and the soundtrack's got that eerie, cozy vibe nailed. It's pretty short, clever, perfect for when you want something Halloween-y without jump scares or just cheap tricks. Alright, who's been around here long enough to know about Zoo-rama? The second game actually just came out. It's definitely another better, goofy little mix of just biking, brawling, and trolling people for points, all wrapped in loud Brazilian meme energy. Think of it as Grand Theft Auto side missions, but like everyone refuses to take anything seriously. You deliver pizzas, upgrade bikes, slightly less cheaper bikes, and bully people all while, having fun. Short, stupid fun in the best way. If you just want something light and messy to play between big games, this one works. Basically what happens when a delivery guy gets tired of real life is what it is. Have you ever wanted to go just bananas in public, but really couldn't because it's mean? Well, this game is literally that. You're stuck in a zoo cage while these random humans tease you, feed you, throw shit at you like you're the Weeknd. And you can finally throw something back. Encounters swing between funny, sometimes sad, sometimes mean, and it's kind of deep. It's kind of like if social commentary were a banana suit. The physics are just nonsense, chaotic, the humor's sharp, and the silence between laughs and, reality kind of hits hard. It's a game about being trapped, about performing, and about fighting boredom with just chaos. Or maybe it's just about being a monkey. I don't know. Either way, it's a pretty good game. Coming up behind that, we have Thrasher. If you're familiar with, the OG Thumper, the racing game where you dance as a beetle on Hans Zimmer class trance music, well, you're gonna have the biggest orgasm of your life with Thrasher. It's the same developers and pretty much Thumper, except it's got space themed and ate acid for breakfast. You're a space eel, a giant squirmy eel, just moving through psychedelic alien worlds while a soundtrack punishes every single screw up. Perfect for just anyone who loves pain and style. OJ Life Simulator, though, is one of those games that surprises you by just being genuinely fun, despite its, premise. You're delivering food, passengers, and packages to a city that actually feels alive. Traffic, shortcuts, and crowded streets to turn everyone into a tiny puzzle of timing and choices. It's a pretty addictive game without being punishing, and the open world design gives you freedom to just experiment or grind for efficiency. Simple mechanics, surprisingly satisfying, perfect for mobile, not flashy, not complicated, just a well-crafted daily grind that makes the mundane feel like an actual skill. On the other hand, we have Haven, Roomscape, which is exactly just what it says on the tin. You wake up somewhere unfamiliar, the exit's missing, and your only options are to poke around, gather clues, and just solve puzzles. It's a pretty slow burn, calmscape experience. Nothing jumps at you, just subtle discomfort and a quiet sense that you just shouldn't be here. Puzzles are pretty classic, fair, the graphics are pleasant, and the ambient soundtrack does most of the tension work. If you like tapping around, thinking, and feeling smart for about 20 minutes, this is a pretty solid, bite-sized escape room fix.